If you were a beginners again and had to start training, what would you do differently?
I would definitely, I would worry less about tournaments and more about I would go to different practices and I'd practice more than I would compete. I would buy a pulling machine first and a wrist wrench, and I would get a real arm wrestling training routine as soon as possible. I wouldn't, too many arm wrestlers just make stuff up. They go into the gym and they invent their own workouts and their own routines. I would find a powerlifting coach or a weightlifting coach or somebody who knows how to make power, and I would do that. I think that would have sped up my arm wrestling career maybe 6 years.
What would you tell to the new people in the sport about training side pressure?
I would tell them to train. Well, not just side pressure. Right? You got to train everything, but you can't neglect side pressure. Too many arm wrestlers try to learn a trick. They try to learn King's move, or they try to learn, you got to develop your overall arm. And side pressure is the quickest way of getting your arm strong. So when I started, everybody trained hook or top roll. I am saying you got to train, all three. You should do a max effort day on all three eventually. You got to develop that all-round power. I would definitely coach max effort work, not just repetition work. A lot of arm wrestlers train like bodybuilders do. So they do a lot of repetition work. They don't do a lot of max effort stuff. I think the max effort's the key. And something that very few arm wrestlers do, which would be very helpful, would be isometrics. Training up against a hard stop,
Right.
That allows you to train
Wow.
very, very heavy weights without getting sore. So that's very beneficial for arm wrestlers to train heavy and not get sore.
Nice. Are top effort lift safe for beginners?
Yes, absolutely. I train everybody the same. Beginners, women, experienced lifters, everybody start. Yeah, you have to do your max effort lifts to begin with, or else you don't know how strong you are. And you've got no way of knowing where your weak points are. So you have to do those.
Would you recommend the side pressure training for top rollers?
Absolutely. Because if you're a top roller and you run into me, and I stop the match, you're going to have some side pressure, or else I'm going to pin you.
Fantastic. Do you think arm wrestling would finally be an Olympic sport someday?
I don't think the arm wrestling will be in the Olympics ever. Never, ever, 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 ever. The Olympics has basically become a great big political organization like the United Nations, and I don't think arm wrestlers have enough political power or clout to get it in there. So no, I don't think arm wrestling will ever be in the Olympics. If it's not now, it never will be. Now, new sports will be added all the time, because great big companies and stuff will fund it. But I don't think you'll ever see arm wrestling in the Olympics.
What's your opinion about the King's move technique?
It was interesting for a while, but when you start putting attention and money into a sport, you're going to start seeing innovations like that. It wasn't a favorite of mine, but I never wanted to outlaw it or ban it. I just figured, all right, somebody else is going to figure out how to beat it, and it's just one more technique. I don't train it. I don't ever plan to use it. I'm too short to use it, so I'll never use it. But I don't care if other people do. I don't think it should be a foul. Those rules should be agreed to ahead of time, but I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't have a problem with it.